Hi guys, I wanted to come on here and chat a little bit about, what's been going on in the manosphere because I'm not trying to hide the fact that I do think that the manosphere is something that could be positive. I definitely think that it can be something positive one day, but right now I don't think it is very positive. I think right now it's a bunch of people who are not understanding, the main facts, and it has become entertainment. The manosphere has become entertainment, and it's so funny now, and I'll cover it while Pearl, just Pearly Things is actually one of the top manosphere creators. I mean, them, she and both Fresh and Fit, and it's fitting why they are the top guys, because the manosphere has become lost. So one of the things happened this week was, two of these folks, and I put their ages there. Lala Anthony came out and she had some interview and she said, you know, I think she was just trying to evade questions, but basically that she's not doing that well on the dating market. So of course, a lot of people pounced on it and said, Lala Anthony cannot find a date. Now, what I found what I found very silly about this was the mere fact is, you know, men are saying that Lala Anthony cannot find a date. Now, I'm a married man, but I can say categorically, Lala Anthony is an extremely attractive woman. It's not that she can't find a date, it's the fact that probably the dating pool out there is not what she wants. So let's stop trying to cap. And I think a lot of people are trying to cap, and they're trying to make some argument which is stupid. And I'll get into what the argument is, what the manosphere is trying. And then you move on to now, you move on to Nia Long. So Nia Long, we all know she was in a relationship with Ime Edoka. He cheated on her and all of that stuff. And she is out with this, best man holiday stuff. I like that. Guys, I encourage you to watch it. It's on Peacock in the US. In Canada, it's difficult for us to watch because people in Canada generally don't have Peacock. But she's always one of my favorite actresses. And they're trying to say that she's over the hill. Then we move on to Taraji Henson. Now, this is a funny one, right? Taraji basically went on some program and she was crying and she was saying, she's had a difficult time with relationships and all that. So the whole message is supposed to be that these women are post-wall and no one wants them. Now, look at these women. I'm a man. These women are extremely attractive. Now, let me be honest. I'm in my mid-40s, and my personal preference would, if I was not married, would be not to date someone older than me. So two of these women, Ashanti and Lala Anthony, are younger than me, right? And I'll get into one of the things what the problem in the manosphere is. And so let's get into it. The problem in the manosphere is they're trying to shame, blame, and explain the simps. Now, guys, if you're listening to this program right now and you don't like simps, just come off of it. I am a simp because I'm a married man, married for 18 years, I'll soon be 19, and I take care of my wife, she takes care of me, and I believe in marriage. I believe in it. That's the best way for you to have a household. And my wife and I don't struggle with each other for power of the house. We have figured out after, over years that, what, we have to work together and we're a team of four. And a team of four is much better than a team of one. And we have been able to do a lot of stuff because of that. So guess what? The manosphere is trying to shame, blame, and explain sins. And what's happening day after day after day, they're seeing that these women are finding mates. Now let's get to this. And this is going to get a little scientific. The main thing that I think most people, it's science, right? You have three sides of the brain. You have the reptilian brain, you have the limbic brain, you have the neocortex. Now, to make it simple, your reptilian brain is what keeps your heart going, all of that stuff. Within that brain is where you find attraction. And within that brain, guess what? These women are attractive to most men, the majority of men. So there's nothing anyone can tell a man to stop them from being attracted to these women. And so therefore, that's where the attraction is. Your limbic is more your mammalian brain where you have feeling and all that stuff. If you're going to appeal to a man, you have to appeal to his neocortex. That's where his rational brain. Problem is that his rational brain, and we all know it, shuts off after a while. And these women, as I said, are so attractive that there's nothing you can say to convince me that Lala Anthony, Ashanti, Taraji Henson or Nia Long cannot find a man. The problem is that they don't want the men that are available. And that's it. And they should be okay with that, right? Because you know what? Let me tell you something. When I first saw Taraji P. Henson, she was in that movie Baby Boy. And I can tell you, man, she looked good. I mean, it was a bit on the ghetto side, but she did look good in that movie. And that has been an imprint on many men's brain. I mean, she's 52 now. And you look at her now, this woman has aged quite well. And so, you know what? She may not be with anyone, but that's by her choice. If you were to go into these women's DMs, I'm sure there are men as young as 20 in their DMs right now trying to get with them, right? Look at Nia Long. Oh my God. I remember back in the day when I first watched Nia Long, it was in the movie Friday. Not Friday was the second time I watched her. First time I watched her was in Boys in the Hood. And she looked kind of good in Boys in the Hood. But Friday was where Nia Long became the top woman. And I remember watching that 1995 movie, and I fell in love with Nia Long. I mean, I still hear the song. If it wasn't for copyright, I would actually play the song. You go back to that Friday scene. There's a song that plays when she runs by, and that. And look at Nia Long now. At 52, this woman is still looking good. As I said, I'm younger than her, and I could potentially see myself dating, but I mean, if I was looking for marriage, no. But I mean, there are men that are older than me and men in her age group and all that stuff, right? And look, and this is Ashanti. Now, this is one that I went on her, like I sometimes I go on the Shade Room and I saw something on her. It was so tremendous to see how many people are still, she still resonates with a lot of people. And her Instagram, her Instagram stories, I can't even put it here because she does put on a bit of a risque set of stuff, right? And she does look good. And Ashanti really does look good. And I remember, and she's one of the folks of the four that actually, I think, looks better now than when she was younger. And, I don't know. She's looking good. And Lala, I first time I ever saw Lala, I think it was on BET. And come on, she's hot. 39. She's the youngest of the bunch. So I mean, there's nothing that these guys can say to tell anyone that these women are not attractive and they're not a lot of men going after them. Trying to say that is just cap and it's nonsense. So all the guys who are trying to put this out, but let's get into why the men want to do this. And I wanted to cover that a little bit. There is a reason why there is this big push to try to put that these women are not what men want. And I'll get into that right now. The number one thing that I would say is that they want to basically, tell women, you are not up to scratch and you are past the wall. And, one of the things is, and I wanted to get over that, is that if you look at the people who actually who are listening in the Manosphere, and you actually hear them talk, because sometimes they jump on the panels. These guys are guys which are not successful in life. A lot of them aren't, and their problem is that they want to get the price of women down to their level, and they're hoping that I don't know, it's a hope of hope. Maybe it's a Hail Mary that someone like a Nia Long would want to get with a guy who doesn't have a career, a guy who is not, fit. That's the whole point of it. And they also want the fact that these women did not remain fit, or did not remain in bad relationships. They want that these women to stay in these bad relationships and, do something, be like, and I'm not saying Snoop Dogg's wife is in a bad relationship, but be that woman that is seen as long suffering. And then, she gets the prize. And for me, listen, guys, I like long marriages. I don't think there's anything wrong with long marriages. But if the woman, if it's not working out, what's the sense of staying there? And they're hoping that these beautiful women, can become, these spectacles that younger women can look at and say, oh, I better stay with my man, because if I don't stay with my man, I'll end up like these women without a mate and all of that stuff. So it's kind of like trying to police women. And for me, listen, guys, as I said, if you think that, if you don't have a value proposition to a woman, she's not going to stay with you. There has to be a value proposition, and that value proposition cannot be that you're just a man. There are 4 billion other men out there. Has to be a value proposition. And if you don't have that value proposition, then what's the sense of being with you, right? And as I said, the reality of it is, men are just looking for, I think men are generally looking for these things, right? They're looking for an attractive woman. That's number one, I believe. And they're looking for something, someone with minimal complications. Because like I know that if I was single, I would not want to get involved with someone with an ex who is constantly in her life and all that stuff, and too many commitments. That's something that we need to be honest with. I don't think a woman with a whole bunch of children, especially if they're young, it kind of is like a deterrent, because the man is probably saying, why would I want to get involved? But let's say a woman has one child or something like that. They do get together, and that's there. And they were trying to say, I hear quite a few people that more mainstream men don't do this, and that's not true. And I wanted to cover that and show that is, I'm not going to use those strong terms as a lie, but that's not true. This woman is a single mother, and guess what? She got back to Ben Affleck is supposed to be a high value man. This man played Batman and all, and he got with this 50-year-old woman. She's supposed to be past the wall, all of that stuff, but no one bats an eye, right? Look at this one. This guy was once the richest. Well, he probably might get back to being the richest man in the world. Jeff Bezos. He's with Lauren Sanchez. Lauren Sanchez is a single mother. There is no rule. Men are going for attractive women, and that's just it. They're going for attractive women, minimal complication, agreeable personality, shared interest. And one of the things I always said is, if, like, my wife and I are very close in age, right? If I was with someone who was extremely young, much younger than me, like, I would say to them, do you remember when Biggie died? If I saw someone very young, because Biggie died, I think, in 97, they'll be like, what? Who the hell are you talking about? I was born in 2000. Like, you can't really relate. Another dimension I want to talk about. I'm from a Jamaican background, right? So I like to eat ackee and saltfish, oxtail, all of that stuff. So therefore, if that person doesn't like that and, doesn't really appreciate that lifestyle, it will be complicated. And I think that shared interests, shared culture, all of that, that's what people are looking for. The whole fact of her being, a single mother or not being single, all of that stuff. I mean, yeah, a woman without any children definitely would be seen, I think, with, a higher market value in the dating market. I do think that. But I think that exceptions are made daily because people are looking for somebody who they can share their life with. A man in their 40s or their 50s is not just looking for someone to under his arm. He's looking for someone to spend your life with. And sometimes that's just a single mother, right? And as long as it's not complicated, I do see them having that. Now, I want to talk about one more thing, and that is just pearly things. So let's set up that. Now, one thing with just pearly things is she is definitely making her rounds in the Manosphere, and I actually do like it. And I'll tell you why. One of the things is, I think that just pearly things is exposing something in the Manosphere, and I'll get into what it is, right? I'll get into why it is that she is doing so well in the Manosphere. One of the things is that Just Pearly Things has invested a lot in her channel. If you look at it, she's doing a podcast, she has different guests on it. And if you look at the guests, it's a diverse guest. People get to bounce opinions and all of that stuff. She comes in with, what she believes is the orthodox manosphere or red pill, ideology about anything. But it's a common discussion, and you get a whole bunch of viewpoints. You cannot falter. She is building a fantastic platform. And the same folks that are arguing that she's taking over the manosphere or whatever, they're using her content. They use her content consistently because she is actually investing and doing, I think, a great job at what she's doing. And I do see her moving more mainstream because I see the type of people that she's been interviewed by, Valuetainment. She's gonna go big. And my argument is Just Pearly Things is bigger than the Manosphere. Just Pearly Things is not about the Manosphere. This young lady is building her platform, and she can switch her content at any point. I was just thinking today, I could see her one day being on Fox News. I could see it easily because her viewpoints tend to be a little conservative, and that the real reason why the Manosphere accepted her is this reason. because she had a relationship with this guy named Angry Reactions. That's the only reason why she got her entrance into the manosphere. And that's because she's seen as a friendly person to black men and all of that stuff. So that's why she actually made it there. But you know what? Her platform will grow, and it's now at a million subs, and that's good. That's good for her. And I actually want her to grow her channel and all of that stuff, because guess what? We have to move away from this toxic manosphere topic of men against women. We have to get to this point where we have to understand, if we're going to build a community, men and women have to work together. And that's going to be the important thing. This thing about, the system is against men and all that stuff. Listen, life, anyone will remind you, life is tough and you have to work through it. And if you're really, believe that you're a man and you're going to be tough, you have to work within the system. Andrew Tate calls this the matrix. I just call it the system. The system is built in such a way, because of years and years of different waves. You had the civil rights movement, which was, to help us blacks, and also women. And then you had a whole bunch of different things that happened over the years. And right now, the system is structured in such a way that, yes, sometimes women do have a bit more rights than men. But guess what? That doesn't stop us from growing. If you look at the top billionaires, they're still men. And even the women who are billionaires, they're really inheriting from men. Because look at the Waltons. There's I think there's either one or two sisters there. She inherited from her father, Sam Walton. Even the people who are inherited from L'Oreal and all that, they're inheriting from their fathers. So this world still is there for people who will be productive, who will work hard. And that's the whole thing. And that's why one of the things that I saw when Andrew Tate came out was that these guys are peddling things to young men which don't make any sense. You don't have to fight the system. You work within the system. And that's how people have always improved and moved the system. And then people are saying they want to change the system, but change the system to what? You have to figure out, what is it you want to change it to? Because to achieve in life, you're going to have to work hard, convince others, get capital, do a lot of different things to do it. And men and women are doing this every day. They're doing this every day, working on ventures and that. They're not buying into this red pill nonsense that you're somehow a victim. And that's what's truly what the red pill is telling people, is that you're a victim to the system, you're a victim to the matrix. But that's nonsense. The truth of the matter is, most of this stuff is nonsense. And just to get back to my first point, I came across this. One thing I heard people saying is that Yo Gotti is a simp. Now, Yo Gotti really loved, he really liked Angela Simmons. Angela Simmons, we all watched her. If you're older, we all watched her when Reverend had his own reality program. She was, I don't want to be rude, but she's the best looking daughter of Reverend. And I'm saying that categorically. People really liked how she looked. And Yo Gotti, I guess, is the same as most of us men out there were saying she was good. She looks good. Now, in 2015, he expressed that he liked her, all of that stuff, and he wasn't able to close the deal to 2022. The guy stuck around, and that. Now people are saying, why didn't he get she's 35, he's 41. Why didn't he get some young IG model or something like that? Why does the guy want that? This is someone that he liked for years. And now he finally is with her. He's happy. Yes, he's what we call, and people will argue with me, he's what we call a high value man, even if it's just for financially. I understand he's worth about $20 million. This guy is actually the producer for Glorilla. Now, all of that means is this destroys the red pill. The red pill says Angela Simmons is a 35-year-old single mother. She's past the wall. She should not be with anyone. No, she's with what we have to consider a high value man. And now they're trying to say he's a simp. I've seen this in my comment section. Yo Gotti's a simp, whatever. So the truth of the matter is, the red pill is trying to tell you that this woman will not get someone. But in the back, behind the scenes, they're trying to tell these men not to date these women. So which is true? Is it that men will date these women, or is it that you want them not to date women? And so these women. And the fact of the matter is that if it wasn't for Yogati, wasn't Yogati, it would be some other guy. Look at the woman. She is pretty. She's still pretty. 35, looks good, all of that stuff. So it doesn't work. Then we move on to Chad. So Chad Ochocinco, he is with this woman. Now, this woman, she's 35. He is going to get, he's there. I understand that he proposed to her, all of that stuff. She has children before, both of them have children before the relationship. They're going to get married. Why? This destroys the red pill argument. She's over 35. She's a single mother. But something you can look at, these two women, if you look good, they'll almost look the same. Because guess what? This is the archetype that the men like. And if we go right back to this is the answer. This is the answer. In their reptilian brain, their instinctual brain, they like this archetype. Even the woman in here, Miss Parker from Friday the movie, is the same archetype. They like it. And they like it. Regardless if it's a single mother or whatever it is, they like that archetype. And there's nothing you can tell them to stop liking this archetype. As a matter of fact, if you go look at my wife, she kind of looks like this too. So it's an archetype that men tend to like. And you know what? If you look at all these women, they are in that archetype. And the men like them. And there's nothing you can say to men because they like them not with their neocortex, with their rational brain. They don't even like it with their emotional brain. They like these women with the old reptilian brain, instinctually. So there's nothing you can do about it. So in closing, all I want to say is let's move on from this. Or if you want to be entertained by the red pill content, be entertained by it. But know that you cannot defeat the science of attraction. And the law of attraction is that your attraction comes deep within from a historic brain, from your reptilian brain. And that means that you likely like these women. And there's nothing you can say against them because they're beautiful, right? Anyhow, guys, I wanted to just cover this because I heard something. I just want to refute those points because this channel is for entertainment also, but it's also there to refute and rebut nonsensical discussions. So guys, I'm going to come back later with on stocks because I want to do my financial stuff and that. I'm definitely going to cover a little bit on Tesla, Meta, which is doing quite well on the market, but I'll be back later. But definitely, guys, you can try to rationalize with folks on these things, but you can't beat that reptilian brain. You like what you like, and that's because that's instinctual. It's not nothing that you thought too hard about. So thanks, guys.